Into order, please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Trish.
Mrs. Brew?
Here.
Miss Langless?
Here.
Mr. Menegini?
Here.
Mr. Marraro?
Here.
Mrs. Steigerwald?
Here. Move on to the approval of the agenda. Is there any questions on the agenda? If not, I need a motion.
Motion to approve the agenda. Support.
Miss Langless?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Marraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Steigerwald?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting, May 6, 2026.
I make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes for May 6, 2026.
Second?
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Marraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Steigerwald?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Miss Langless?
Yes. Minutes of the budget workshop for May 11, 2026.
Motion to approve the budget of workshop, May 11, 2026.
Support.
Mr. Marraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Steigerwald?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Miss Langless?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Do we have the workshop minutes for the 18th?
I think it was what she put on, that's much.
Okay, I didn't see it. Do I have a motion on the budget workshop minutes of May 18th, 2026?
I make a motion we approve the budget workshop minutes for May 18, 2026.
Second?
Mrs. Steigerwald?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Miss Langless?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Marraro?
Yes.
We'll move on to the manifest 2026-10. Sarah, did you have any questions? I did not. Ricky?
No. Thank you.
Jeff?
None, Madam Mayor.
Rico?
No questions.
I have none either. Do I have a motion on the manifest?
I'll make a motion to approve manifest 2026-10 in the amount of $289,331.35.
Support.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes?
Miss Langless?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Marraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Steigerwald?
Yes.
We have no manifest questions. We'll move on to public comment. Anyone in attendance wishing to address the council on any item of interest shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. Anyone in attendance wishing to address the council on an agenda item only shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. We have none. We'll move on to our action items. Action item number 1, change order number 1, TMF, lead line verification project, GEI. Dan.
So this is a grant we got last year to do more investigations of the lead water line project. This is our second grant. The first one finished up a summer or so ago. This was an additional grant that we contracted with Smith Construction through a bidding process. Our total grant amount was $476,000. The bids for this extra investigation was far under that. So this is a change order to continue to use the remaining grant dollars for more investigation. So that change order is for $122,592 for 53 lead line inspections with Smith Construction. So again, no money out of the city directly. It was all still from a grant.
With Smith Construction, are they the ones going in and checking it all too, or they're just doing the
No,
labor?
they're just the exterior. Yep. The only time we're doing a lot of the interior is in conjunction with changing out the meters, which we're still doing that, but they're not necessarily, Smith is not doing that portion of it.
So right now, who's doing the inside?
We are.
Okay.
So we're just for the inspection on the outside, we're paying $2,500 a line. That's the inspection. It has nothing to do with the replacement.
Yeah, this is just drilling a hole near the curb stop to see how it is connected.
And just to confirm, we can't use this to actually replace some lead lines.
Yep, the two grants were were specific for the investigation and identifying.
Are we going in now, if we're inspecting into people's houses and we find the lead lines, are we telling the people what they have to do inside, or?
Yeah,
In their
there's a,
residence?
we have to have, once we identify, we have to have a list going of who are identified, and if you're not on the list, then you're not. You weren't identified during the inspection. If it's inspected on the outside and is lead, then you can pretty much guarantee it is on the inside, and we have to replace it anyways.
So what are we telling people when we go in and we find the lead inside?
Just that what we did find that if it is a lead service line, then nothing we have to do now. There's no danger. We do testing, but eventually it will be replaced by the city.
So we have to replace it in the house?
All the way to the house. Yep. So you're
But I mean the inside now.
just where it comes into the meter. Anything past the meter, no, that's internal plumbing. But the
But
service
okay, say
line-
we catch it inside. What are we telling them, that they gotta replace it, or?
They don't have.
They don't have to. We do. The service line that connects from the main that goes into the house and then it stubs up into the basement, connects to the meter, and then the internal housing plumbing connects to the meter through the house. Normally, that line from the meter to the main is the homeowner's responsibility, but this new lead law changed that, put it on the utility. So if there's lead connection here or inside, we now have to replace that service line from the main under the ground into the house that's stubbed up to the meter. And that will become our responsibility.
What about if there's lead in bathrooms,
That
or,
is not our responsibility.
but are they told they have to fix it?
We wouldn't necessarily know if they had lead lines throughout the house, but we are not inspecting the house. We are just inspecting the service line to the house.
Yeah, they're,
Like in a bathroom or
yeah,
anything
they
like
don't
that?
have to fix it, Candy. I don't think. And I don't think we're responsible to identify
No.
everything through the house,
No.
from what I've read. That said, you know, I wish we could let people know more.
I mean, we can tell people to be advised to,
Yeah.
you can talk to a plumber to investigate your line. We do tell people if you look at your piping and put a magnet on it and it is magnetized, then it likely is lead or galvanized, which, if it's galvanized, also previously connected to lead, we have to replace that service line.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of confusion out there, and, you know, we got a lot of people that don't understand.
Yep.
But so right as of right now, people are not going in and saying, you gotta replace this.
No, no. The only time where we have to replace it as quickly as possible is if we discover an actual physical leak. If we inspect it and we find a leak, or the inspection caused a leak and it is lead, then we have to replace that line within,
I mean, for us, but I mean inside the house.
no,
Who's
just,
sending out the letters that are saying they're coming around and inspecting people's houses?
the exteriors, we aren't really sending letters to the
Well,
exteriors.
I the jury tax got a letter.
That's a whole different.
Is that the backflow situation?
Yes, yeah, that's a different.
Because I have some questions.
Well, come up if you wanna, can I?
Where we missed that time, girl.
Well, I didn't think you were talking about it.
Mary, you can come talk to me tomorrow if you want to.
Yeah, I gave Candy a list of
Yeah, she
questions,
did.
if somebody could just answer them. I had a client that called me upset, she's 90,
Okay.
got 5 violations, and she doesn't understand it, I didn't want to give her bad advice.
I'll give you a call tomorrow, or just come
Yeah.
see me. We can go through
Yeah,
it.
I just felt bad for her, there was five violations, she's got to get a licensed plumber to come in, where's this money coming from? So,
Violations?
If you're found that you don't have a working backflow preventer,
Oh, yeah, back.
That's different.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
not the lead copper line. This is the hydro corp where state law requires us to do backflow or cross-connection inspections to make sure either if you need a backflow preventer, so contaminants don't have enough ability to get into the water system, you're required to have backflow preventers or different things like that. Residential once every 10 years, businesses once every 5. Businesses that have a high probability of contaminants would be up to every year. So we are required by the state to do that.
And that's on them.
If there is a issue found, yes, that is their internal plumbing that they have to get fixed.
The backhoe.
Yes.
Yes.
And do they have a certain amount of time, or?
I have to check the letter. There is a time frame on that letter, but I have to review
Okay, that's
Madam
right.
Mayor, if I may.
Who's sending out that letter?
it. HydroCorp is sending it out. Yeah.
Who? Hydro.
But yeah, Mary, I'll look at these. We can.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep.
If I may, Madam Mayor.
Mhm.
To Mrs. Steigerwald's point earlier, it's just kind of floors me that we've got to spend all this money up front, just like that. I mean, you know, we're gonna end up changing them all anyways. I mean, I get it, it's a grant and it's fine, but I mean, this $477,000 would sure help go towards replacement instead of, you know, drilling and identifying.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
I know this is the survey, so it's not every household that got the inspection. As part of this lead replacement, is there going to pretty much be a survey done on every house to
That's
make
what we
sure?
expect.
So this is actually helping at least do
Originally,
that
it was
phase
like
one of it?
inspecting 20%, grant of 20%, and then because we had this grant, I mean, it's everything.
Let's hope. With this money, that can only be used for one thing. We find out that these additional 53 houses that we examined, not a lot of them need it. That's less money it's gonna cost us at, what is it to replace the service that we both break down?
8 to 10.
8 to 10, so, yeah,
And a lot of the reason why they do like the randomness, I believe, is if you find every fourth house in that particular area is lead, unless the owner knows that that service line had been replaced with copper, it's likely that whole area is lead.
yeah.
And I think too, being that there is letters being sent out and that if, you know, maybe the next council meeting, if we have a little update so people kind of understand what's going on
Yep.
and what they're responsible for and
Yep.
not responsible for, I think that would help too.
Yeah, we'll continue to we'll do some newsletter updates again on that.
And the difference between HydroCorp, what HydroCorp is
Yeah,
doing this
there's a
one?
lot of water stuff happening that's.
I think that's what's confusing people, is what the letter is coming, what it's about, the backflow or the lead piping, you know, so, yeah.
Maybe Brock can write something up or,
Yeah, just for the public knowledge, the HydroCorp thing is totally separate from the lead line stuff.
Yep.
Everybody, for what it's worth, like Dan just said, there's a lot of water things happening right now, unfortunately. But the HydroCorp is cross-contamination backflow into the system. This is actual lead lines feeding the system.
yeah, two different things. Well, just as long as we get it out there and people understand.
Yeah.
It's confusing as it
It
is.
is.
It's hard for us to understand what's going on,
Yeah,
you know.
there's a lot of rules are changing, especially with the lead.
Did I have any other questions on the change order? If not, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the GDI change order number 1 as presented.
Second? Ms. Langless? Yes. Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Mararo?
Yes.
Mrs. Steigerwald?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes. We'll move on to action item number 2, special event application, Night Owl Sports Bar Outdoor Dance number 1.
So the next two items are both a dance for the Night Owl on 2 different dates. They did this, I believe, last year. Really why this is coming to the council is the relief from the noise ordinance. And also, I would just like, I'd like to hear from Mr. Mararo about, do you have any objection to your parking lot?
I think there's 2 different dates.
Yeah, well, I'll work it out with Metal. Thank you.
So we have 2 dances. The first one is June 13th, 3 p.m. to 11, and that would be the noise violation or noise relief would be from that time frame. Your motion, I do have approval relief from the
Under number 4. They both say June 13th.
They're both exactly identical, actually.
They are, the windows are the exact same. They're both the exact same because they both have the approval for June 13th and July 18th, so I kind of had it figured you could do it in one, because they're
They're the same thing.
I think that should be done.
If you want to do it separately, you can do that separately.
It gotta be done separately.
So this is just extending the noise ordinance from 10 to 11?
It's just relieving it so that they can violate a noise ordinance.
Okay.
And
And just have a fun time for an extra hour for the night.
Yeah.
For 2 nights, 2
Right,
weekends.
and, I believe before it was till midnight.
It was.
And then they
Yep, they
backed it
reduced
off.
it.
Okay.
So if you want to do that motion, just omit the July date for now, and then you can do that on the next.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
Go ahead.
I make a motion to approve relief from section 14-72 through 14-74 of Article 3, noise between 3 PM and 11 PM on June 13, 2026, for the Night Owl Street Dance located at 1035 Main Street.
Second?
Mr. Menegini,
Yes.
Mr. Marraro,
Yes.
Mrs. Steigerwald,
Yes?
Mrs. Brew,
Yes?
Miss Langless.
Who
Yes.
seconded that?
I got
Me.
Langless.
I believe. I think it was me.
And then we'll take the next date.
And I will just add this for the next one. They do have alcohol in the parking lot, but that works through the state and our police. It's the same as what it's for, so it has to be approved by the state, not us.
The liquor part?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why it's not part of it.
I'll make a motion to approve relief from sections 14-72 to 14-74 of Article 3, noise between 3 PM and 11 PM on July 18th, 2026, for the Night Owl with a K street dance located at 1035 Main Street.
Second?
Yeah.
Mr. Marraro,
Yes.
Mrs. Steigerwald,
Yes?
Mrs. Brew,
Yes?
Miss Langless.
Yes.
Mr. Menegini.
Yes.
We'll move on to number 4, Planning Commission member appointment.
So the planning commission did recommend the council appoint Mary Scope, who's here in the audience, to the planning commission. She has served previously. If anyone would like to speak with Ms. Scope on this, she is in the audience.
Glad you're getting involved, Mary.
Again.
You have some, welcome back.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Thanks for stepping up.
Yep. Do I have a motion?
I'll make
Yeah,
a, I'll make a motion to appoint Mary Skog to the Planning Commission with a term expiring at the end of December 2027.
Support.
Mrs. Steigerwald,
Yes?
Mrs. Brew.
Yes?
Miss Langless.
Yes.
Mr. Menegini.
Yes.
Mr. Marraro.
Yes.
Move on to our action items, Resolution 2026-12, certifying the 2026 tax levy rates. We have to do this every year.
Correct. So this is part of our budgeting process. We have our public hearing coming up June 3rd. We have this before that, just so we can get it out to the different entities from a tax purpose. We are not, this is to not increase the tax levy, therefore we don't have to have a public hearing because we're not increasing it, it's not changing. So you have the resolution in the form of the next page for your approval.
And I just would like to throw all this out there, because I hear this a lot when I talk to people in the community. They're like, you raised my taxes. And I'm like, no, we never raised the mills. And a lot of people don't understand, it's the state that comes in on your percentage of what it goes up.
It's your
State equalized value.
Yeah,
Yes, there you go.
The assessor every year, it's based on comps and your value has increased and therefore the home produces more.
Your property value assesses higher,
Yes.
so thus you pay more in taxes. We have not raised, I believe, some property taxes, 1993, I think.
Yeah, I know since I've been here, we haven't. Hopefully we won't, but you never know. So just so people understand that we're not, every year they think we're raising it.
So
And
our
that's not
millage
it.
is 16.3914.
Do I have a motion?
I see this every year. When this comes up, I would love to have a comparison of our communities with their city.
Oh, yeah, that's easy. I think we,
Mills are. Yeah, just, I know, just as a seat.
Yeah, and we've had that before, and I believe we are one of the lowest around.
I mean, we're all fairly.
We're
with the
close.
cities, you can't compare townships.
Right,
Um,
and it's hard too, because, isn't it different too, because they have more, like, if you compared us to Kingsford, because they have more
Well,
residents?
there's different things. There's mills for operations, some have pension mills, some have garbage mills.
Mhm.
But you can separate just the operating, and we're pretty close. But we have about 2.5 mills, room to increase at some point.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-12 certifying the 2026 tax levy rates as presented.
Support?
Mrs. Brew,
Yes?
Miss Langless.
Yes.
Mr. Menegini.
Yes.
Mr. Mararo,
Yes.
Mrs. Steigerwald.
Yes.
Okay, we're on to number 6, and I don't see Damien here,
I
but
knew they weren't gonna be here tonight. They had
we
a
can
family,
talk a little
yeah.
bit about
Yeah.
it. Okay, this is the Eagle Scout project that Damien DiPinardi is working on, and he is working on a pavilion for his Eagle Scout project up by the, spring.
Correct.
And it's really nice to see a young gentleman come in, and he has talked to the DDA, and,
I believe he came to council earlier.
I think he did come to council too, that he wants to do this project. He's shown us pictures and different stuff of how he wants to do it, and it looks really nice. And he will be out and about trying to raise some money to do this pavilion.
If you know, for a location standpoint, it's at the spring, it's not the best imagery, but it's right, the proposal is right in this area here. It's flat, it's a good spot, and I don't believe it would ever really obstruct any future plans, and I think it'll be highly used. It's a spot that will be nice, it has benches in it, I think it's a good area to have. He is raising the total cost of this is just over $5,700. He has to do most of this himself, surely for volunteers, probably to help the construction of it. But yeah, I think it's a good project, I think it'll enhance that area. We're excited to see it.
And also, if you do donate towards it, they did tell us today that they're gonna have some kind of plaque or whatever there in order to put a person's name or a business's name on it. But I really, kudos to this young gentleman for wanting to come out and do something like this.
Eagle Scouts are great.
Yeah.
I just wanted to check, Department of Public Works has no problem with
You
where
know,
the gazebo is located?
We met Damien and his mom out there at that location.
Okay.
prior to it. Yeah, we don't see an issue. We'll be assisting with some earth moving for the concrete, and, we'll assist where we can.
Okay.
Do I need a motion on that?
I sure do have a motion to approve the Eagle Scout project as presented by Damien DiPinardi.
Support?
Is that Ricky? Miss Langless.
Yes.
Mr. Menegini.
Yes.
Mr. Mararo.
Yes.
Mrs. Steigerwald.
Yes.
Mrs. Brew.
Yes. We'll move on to discussion items, appraisal of city-owned Wisconsin property, Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
Okay. So we've discussed this item a couple times. Jay from WisDOT is here. So what this is Wisconsin Department of Transportation interested in purchasing some city-owned land in Wisconsin on the Menominee River. I can bring up a map too.
And just so everybody knows, this is just a discussion
Correct.
tonight.
So this isn't Wisconsin's GIS, or the county GIS, Wisconsin has a hard time figuring out, but it's essentially almost 400 acres around the Menominee River here. It comes about up to where our island is and stops. You can see this road here is how you access it currently. The island is not part of this proposal. This is all in our current FERC hydro dam license. So we would need permission from FERC, and my understanding is a year ago, FERC, Wisconsin DNR, and Michigan DNR all gave their sort of blessing, I suppose, of this. What I was going to have for tonight, first to have Jay kind of go through his PowerPoint for those who were not on council during this time, just to kind of get everybody up to speed as to why they're interested, how we got here, and we'll lead up to that where we asked them to get an appraisal of this property, which they did in this interpack. So Jay, you want to...
Just really quick, is most of the property below the dam or part of our reservoir, or half and half?
It's above.
It's above.
The
So it's
dam's
the
right-
reservoir area?
The dam's right here. The property starts, I believe, it's in the appraisal of the parcel, but I believe it starts right around Sturgeon Dam Road. And
Okay.
It goes all the way like this. Up here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Skelton, do you have my?
I do.
Good. Thank you. So my name is Jay Walschmidt. I'm from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. My position is section manager for the environmental process and documentation section. And thanks very much for giving us an opportunity to come and talk to you about this tonight. Before I start introductions of the other people that are here and that are online that are maybe talking, I'd like to just say I started off the night kind of wrong. I apologize, Councilmember Megahini. I mistook you for Dan.
He gets it all the time.
You should take it as a compliment.
Thank you for noticing me, Pro Tem Romano. I appreciate that it could have happened, so thank you very much. So again, as I said, I'm Jay Walton. I have a couple people here tonight. Go ahead, Barry.
Keeping Barry Payne, Director of Technical Services, so I oversee pretty much anything that doesn't fit in engineering or other buckets at the DOT, so I work with Jay and Greg.
He's my boss. Greg?
Greg Gasper, I'm the Real Estate Section Chief in the Bureau of Technical Services. Jay is my coworker, and Barry's my boss too, so he's got us on a tight leash tonight.
John Cole, are you online? And who's online from the DNR?
If I can figure out how to exit out of this.
I think you can hit
There we go.
You're not very handy.
Yeah, there's John Cole. John Cole, can you introduce yourself? Are you able to get out? Okay, I'll just introduce them. John Cole is my team member, and she has been working on this extensively like I have been. And I have 12 working days left before I retire. John Cole's going to be taking over as the lead on this.
Congratulations.
Oh, they have themselves on mute.
John Cole, your mute is on.
CL is not on mute yet.
It could be something else.
Good try to speak about the volume up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, can't, there.
Oh, can't hear anything?
Yeah.
Are we on?
No.
It said on our block that our noise was suppressed.
Yeah. I'm not
See it right there? If you go to like our thing there?
But if you pull down that little arrow next to the mic, if you go up a little bit more,
That's the.
and what is that?
That's our microphone.
Turn off the noise suppression? Maybe? Can you hear us now?
No.
Cheryl, if you can hear us, can you give us a thumbs up?
Oh, she can hear.
hear us. Just start volume.
Okay.
Okay.
So is, Jay, anything that Cheryl's gonna add that you can't handle, or?
There's nothing that I can't handle.
I think
At
Greg
least-
needs to monitor the chat.
At least that I.
What about you have, it
that I
said
will be
more
able to
audio
say
on
I
it, it was
don't
marked
know,
no.
too, so
You're right there. More audio?
That's mono.
that's the issue, change it to
Oh, that doesn't
USB.
even say more audio.
What's the issue, Jan?
I think if you change the one below to USB speaker, because that's what
It's
you
the
had for the other
microphone
one.
that is the
This is the
problem.
microphone.
They can hear us, they just can't
Yeah.
talk.
You couldn't click on the one above it?
No, it's.
Yeah, I'm turning 60 in November. I'd like to do this before I hit 60, but it just.
What was the other one?
I just
Don't
heard
allow
it.
No, that's what.
Usually just.
Once again, they can hear us.
Yeah, they can hear us, we're just not
The-
here.
The boss is doing it on Teams, so.
I'll monitor the chat
Monitor.
on Teams.
How's that? Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we
Proceeds.
continue?
Yeah.
It might be this, yeah. If you want to try to continue, Jay, I'll see if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be it.
If you want to continue.
Go ahead, Jay. Continue.
I'll go on. Okay, so online we have John Cole Johnson. As I said, she's my teammate. We also have Bridget Brown on. Bridget is from the DNR. She's the one that works with the Section 6F, things like that, but not, well, I'm sorry, that's Luke Roffler. Bridget works very with,
I believe she's in the park area.
yes, park area, thank you.
We hear her now.
I heard her voice.
I heard a voice.
You hear a voice?
Yeah.
Did you hear me? Okay, great, yes. Yeah, Bridget Brown with Zero Parks and Recreation Management in the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources here. And I work with recreation and real estate and other related pieces. And we're very excited to talk to you about this project tonight.
Cheryl, go ahead.
Hey folks, you've met me before, or many of you have. I am Cheryl Lodge. I am the FERC coordinator, so as this process moves forward, assuming it moves forward at some point, I will be assisting you with anything related to your FERC license.
John Cole, unmute. There you go.
And good evening, everyone. Hopefully you can hear us all now. John Johnston, I work in Jay's section, and when Jay retires, I'll be the main point of contact going forward for this project and working with Barry and Greg to hopefully move it to the end.
Welcome, all of you.
Okay, next slide, please. So it's going to give you a little bit of the background and history because some of you were not here when we did the original presentation. So Wisconsin purchased 24 waysides in 1970. They have been closed since. They've been encumbered with what's called land and water conservation funds. And for us to be able to sell those 24 waysides as excess parcels, as excess land, we have to get that encumbrance off of the parcels. So we have to give land of equal value and usage. And that's kind of where this comes in. So it's our intent to do that with the land that we would like to purchase from you guys. In the Menominee River, on the west side of the Menominee River, and it would probably more than satisfy the equivalent in use requirement to get those 24 waysides taken care of. Parcels are located within the authorized acquisition boundaries of the DNR, their Menominee State Recreation Area. And that means that if DNR got these lands from us, we would purchase from you, we would do the machinations that we need to transfer it to DNR. And I'll be explaining a little bit later, but it's going to be consistent then with the Menominee River State Recreation Area. So this land is going to be perpetually in public use for recreation purposes. And then the Menominee State River Recreation Area is located in Michigan and Wisconsin on both sides of the Menominee River, and it's co-managed by both states. So what it would do is it would add to that 7652 acres that's out there already. Next slide, please. So here it is. This is, so there's the two areas that we started looking at first, but it's this area B here, as Mr. Stoltman showed you earlier. And it does actually go up here. The dam is right here. It does actually go all the way up over here too. And within that parcel A, there are like 4 parcels or 8 parcels? 8 parcels. There's 8 parcels within there that we have to deal with as we did the appraisal for it. So it isn't just one big parcel. There's 8 separate parcels that you guys have within that B area. Next slide, please. So what have we done to date? In November 21, we sent a letter of interest to Norway saying that we'd be interested in working with the city of Norway to make this actually happen. That went to Ray Anderson, the city manager at the time. April 22nd, or April 2022, we had a big meeting with everybody, with DNR, WSDOT, and then we had the Federal Energy Regulation Commission there. Ray Anderson was there, Meaton Hunt, who is still, as I understand, your person that works for coordination in that. Others, Michigan DNR, Wisconsin River Alliance, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, Michigan Hydro Relicensing, and then we gave an overview of the project, what we wanted to accomplish, and then the boundaries for the FERC boundaries, because that's one of the big concerns here. June of 2022, all comments came back from the regulatory agencies. They were all on board with it, or they wanted some additional information as we got closer to the time, knowing that we would have to, again, re-coordinate with them. So it's expected that there were no absolute objections. Michigan DNR was a little bit on the fence. They are whenever it comes to FERC boundaries, is my understanding. Then we had a gap in there. It took a while to get the appraisals done and everything, but then October 2024, we made a presentation here to the council. And our main effort on that, during that presentation, was to see if the council was interested in working towards this actually becoming a reality. And the council said, we need an appraisal. You got to tell us what the money's going to be before we can really say anything. And that's what we expected would happen. So after that, we had the appraisals done. The appraisals, Greg will explain the process in a little bit, but it takes a while. And especially when WSDOT is doing so many appraisals for so many projects, we only have so many appraisers. So it took a while to get that done, and with all the parcels, that made it even more complex, and with mineral rights and with logging rights. It was interesting, yes.
This was an internal WSDOT appraisal?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. And then in March 2026, we sent the appraisal on. It was completed and we sent it to Dan. So those are major steps up to this point. There was a lot of other smaller steps, but I wanted to keep it short. Now the next slide, please. So I'm going to let Greg talk about this slide on the summary of the appraisal process.
All right, thanks, Jay. All right, let's talk about the appraisal. In terms of process, we appraise a lot of property at WSDOT, obviously, for obvious reasons. And so we have a master contract where we have 20 different appraisal firms on that master contract in Wisconsin. DNR also has a list of appraisers that they like and that they approve of in order to appraise properties like this. So we found 3 firms on our list that also show up on the Wisconsin DNR's list, and sent them a solicitation with all sorts of information about the property and the task at hand, what we're looking to appraise. 2 firms responded. Per the rules of our low bid, of our appraisal master contract, the low bid gets the job, so it was awarded to Streetland LLC, a firm out of Wausau, near Wausau. The appraiser is a guy named Darren LeBrun. We know Darren's work really well. We consider him one of our higher caliber appraisers. He's got experience all over Wisconsin, but also up here in the Upper Peninsula. He's done a lot of forestry, rec type of appraisals, of large swaths of land like this one, and special considerations, and plenty of special considerations on this project. So he's got the highest appraisal certification, and he's a general certified appraiser as well. Once we got him on board, we sat him down and talked turkey and details on what it is we're looking at in a little bit more detail. He came up and visited, walked the property, searched for comparables, and goes through his process of research and figuring out what all the value considerations are on the parcel. And once he came to his conclusion, he turns in the draft to us at WISDOT, but also to DNR as well. Both WISDOT and DNR did what we would call the review appraisal, basically the looking at of Darren's appraisal to ensure that it's methodologically sound, that there's no errors, that the conclusions are sensible, that his highest and best use it makes sense as well, and doing a deep dive. DNR's dive is a little bit deeper than ours. DNR is, as Jay said, this is a 6F conversion, land and water conservation. That means that the transaction kind of runs through the DNR's real estate process. We have to ensure that they're on board with the appraisal. They need to see what we in the industry call a yellow book appraisal, which is, it's sort of an appraisal just slightly above and beyond your normal, what we would call a right-of-way appraisal and what we do. So we had to meet those standards, and DNR's review appraiser took a look at it and did his deep dive and said he felt good about it. There are only just very, very, very minor changes that he requested. Greg is his name as well. We are actually very familiar with Greg, the DNR review appraiser. Again, a very reputable appraiser who also did a lot of work on WISDOT highway projects in years past, in a past life of Greg's. So we also did a lower level review of the appraisal, since we're not the review authority on this appraisal, but we wanted to just make sure it made sense, and so we took a peek at it too to make, and Pam Anderson from our team, from my appraisal team, took a look at the appraisal. She's also been in the business about 25 years. She is born and raised in northern Wisconsin, so she's very familiar with this market and did a lot of appraising up here in the days when she was actually writing reports. Pam likewise didn't find any significant issues with the report, and it was ultimately approved. Now onto the appraisal itself. And I think the appraisal, hopefully everybody's had a chance to look through it. I think it's actually a pretty well-written appraisal. I think it's written even so that I can understand, so that hopefully it was pretty straightforward for you guys as well. But in terms of highest and best use, probably just to raise some key points here, highest and best use, Darren identified as recreation forestry. The highest and best use is going to drive what types of properties the appraiser is looking for in terms of comparables. And so the highest and best use has to be what is legally permissible, physically possible, financially feasible, and maximally profitable. What's going to drive the highest value. And those, if you put your use, your proposed use through that test, and whatever comes up with the highest number is logically your highest and best use. So Darren identified, probably not surprisingly to anybody here, if you've seen the land, identified it as rec forestry. Used the sales comparison approach. There are a few different, as you know, probably there's a few different approaches you can take with an appraisal. You can take a sales comparison approach where you just pull comparables, sales of similar properties or listings of similar properties. You're also looking at a potential cost approach if you have improvements on the property, or an income approach if it's an income generating property. Obviously the situation here is sales comparison, since there's no improvements or revenue being generated. So you take a sales comparison approach. Darren examined 157 sales going back about 3 years, settled on 3 sales and a listing, what sales in Wasaki, Vulcan, and Mountain, and a listing in Crystal Falls, but sort of zeroed in further on the listing in Crystal Falls and the sale in Mountain. The listing near Crystal Falls was on 82 acres on the Paint River, public road access, listed for about $4,300 an acre and some change. That is actually still on the market today. I checked that yesterday just to make sure. The sale he looked at was near Mountain. That's 122 acres on the Oconto River, public road access, an adjusted unit price after comparison to the subject property of about just a little over $4,500 an acre. That sold in July of 2025. His estimate of final value, therefore, looking at those 2 properties, was right about $4,500 an acre, about $1.16 million. So, I would ask if you have any questions on anything I just shared with you.
So, when they did it, they assessed it for $4,500 an acre?
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
And his estimate of the acreage was more along the lines of 259 acres.
Not the 382?
Right, right.
So,
Is that to
So that-
take into account the shoreline that we would need to keep under FERC?
All the islands, that does not include any island. So any island was taken out of that number. And it also does not include, Jay showed that parcel off to the west on his original slide. It does not include that as well.
Why?
We maintain ownership of that and also the islands?
Yes. Any other questions? Jay, back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You good?
Okay, so then the next slide, please, yeah. So obviously there's going to be proposed next step. The main thing that we need to know, you saw the estimate, you saw the amount. You can get your own appraisal if you want. You'll have to pay for it. If you have a different number, we'll certainly be able to do negotiations. I'd hate to see something come in at $5 million versus ours, then we're kind of a ways off, but you have the ability to do that, so it's not like you have to accept this number tonight.
Jay, would you say, so the appraised value is where you guys are at for offer currently? Is that fair?
Yes, that would be our offer, correct, right?
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So I'll make sure that was clear.
Do you have the ability to, like, bargain if someone, if we say 3, I mean, state and government, I mean, do you have that ability?
We would have to have something to negotiate up from our current offer on, so you would have to have a different appraisal for us to consider
Okay.
something. I
All
don't
right.
have.
Okay. A procedural question.
Yep, this is why we're here today.
Yeah.
This question's answered,
It's
so.
like, nope, that's as high as we'll ever be able to go. That's not necessarily true. There's other documentation out there.
Yes.
Understood.
You'd have to have a qualified appraisal
Yes.
from a qualified appraiser
Yeah.
to hand us so that we can look at and grade and compare the two and see ones if, did we make errors? Did they make errors?
Okay.
Maybe not, maybe it's just a difference of opinion and maybe
Yeah.
we just talk about it.
And appraisers are known to have different opinions.
The
So-
purpose of this project is so that you get land of equal value as the way stations, but then your plans are to sell those way station parcels, and they can be industrial, it can be, have different uses? Is that correct?
Those way station parcels, they are not big parcels. I would assume, Greg, that, I mean, we'd probably be selling it to the nearby farmer to add to his land or, you know, wherever it is. It's not like they're gonna put a Walmart center on there. No, it's gonna be nothing like that. They're small parcels.
And they're typically, they sort of harken back to the day of the Sunday drive. There are a lot of them are in very, very, very rural locations in like central and northern Wisconsin that, the typical use is going to be, you know, as an add-on to a neighboring property. Some of them, you know, may have some value, maybe in higher traffic locations, maybe they'll end up with the colors on them. But I think by and large, they'll be recreational in nature or agricultural in nature.
Thank you.
And a couple of these parcels are already under a road. We messed up admittedly. We didn't convert them and they ended up as part of the road. So we still have to give the land back for the value back for that to DNR. We would not want to mess with NP, North National Park Service, nor DNR. We've been open about that, is that there's a couple that have already been converted.
But they are of equivalent value and use in comparison to the property that you're looking to purchase.
That is something that we will, if I understood correct, we'll be working with DNR based on what will DNR get out of that as recreational area and for use. And DNR may very likely upgrade everything to add trails and things like that. But it's what they believe the use is, and then the value is already determined in the appraisals. So the use is kind of what it comes down to now. And then we're doing appraisals on the waysides. So that'll tell us then what we have to pay for.
Jay, can you discuss a little bit how the National Park Service is involved in this deal?
I want Bridget to jump in if she needs to, but the National Park Service is essentially the money. This LawCon, the Land and Water Conservation Funding, which they give to the state to distribute to people that apply for it. And that's about the extent of what they are. Our DNR has permission to operate the LawCon program for them, the Land and Water Conservation Fund program. So DNR is truly the people that we're talking to, and National Park Service will review what we're proposing and what DNR is willing to accept, and they'll say, yeah, and it's something that I would expect they'll look more at the value and the use and say, yep, DNR, you're getting a good deal here. We like this ourselves. And it's a good way to get the money back that WISDOT took and spent on those resources in the waysides. We'll get that money back now in recreational areas here in this area that we're proposing to buy. So National Park Service is part of it, but not, for Wisconsin, not the major player, although they do have veto authority, ultimately. Did I get all that right, Bridget? Or Luke could be on that. We don't have Luke Roffler, their 6F expert on tonight.
Not disappearing in the chat.
I'll assume I did good. So that hopefully answers that question. Properties currently have FERC boundaries, restrictions, and need to go through the boundary revisions before the sale. So there will still be FERC boundaries out there in the end, I believe, and this is really Cheryl's area. So Cheryl, I don't know if you can get on, but you may want to talk about this a little bit. But again, we have to know specifically what the options are regarding the FERC boundaries and the corresponding costs and timelines. So this would be on a separate path from what we're working on. So you guys we hope that Cheryl has said that she's anxious to work with you guys, work with Mead and Hunt. and work with FERC on this to make this become a reality too. Cheryl, can you talk?
So, as part of the FERC license associated with the hydroelectric dam, there are specific lands that are encumbered under that license requirement. And many of those lands, as part of that area that is known as the FERC project boundary, is part of today's discussion for the potential sale to the Department of Transportation. Through the FERC process, you would need permissions to change the land use and occupancy. And as we've previously discussed with council, we would recommend that there be a parallel process to remove those lands from the project boundary that are not needed for project operations. The lands that are not needed for project operations are the majority of those lands associated with tonight's discussion. I'd be very happy to work with you on a separate conversation or with Dan directly, along with a consultant that's on retainer, which is Mead and Hunt. Your consultant on retainer is very familiar with changes to project boundaries, the FERC process, and the revisions of the Exhibit Gs that are associated with those processes. Are there any specific questions for me about that process?
Yeah, Cheryl, it's been our understanding in the past that FERC will possibly relieve some of the regulations that we currently are under, but we've heard it was 2035 before some of that would happen. What's your take on that?
Sorry, could you repeat did you say 2035?
Correct.
And that might be the date that your federal license expires, and that's not what we're talking about today. We would be talking about changing the area in which that is regulated under your federal license. FERC really only wants to take regulatory authority over the areas that are necessary for project operations. And the vast amount of forested and woodland and recreational trails are not actually necessary and needed for dam operations. There have been questions in the past about some of the islands in the river. Those would likely remain within the project boundary because they are associated with the flows associated with the dam.
Yeah, understood.
The majority of the lands that we're talking about tonight are not necessary and needed for project operations of the hydroelectric dam itself. They are remnants, likely, of ownership. In past practice, especially in the 80s and 90s, it was common practice that FERC project boundaries were based on property ownership and tract lines. That's not the actual policy of the federal government in which they assert authority. So we would work with you to seek an amendment to your license so that those areas that are outside of what's necessary and needed are removed from your FERC license and no longer part of what's required as part of your FERC license.
Yeah, totally understand and thank you for that. But I guess my question is, has this happened before? Have you done this with FERC before anywhere? And have they?
It's actually quite common.
It's quite common?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I believe that I was fishing in my annual fishing outing in Tomahawk this past week. And one of the places that I fish there is below Wisconsin Public Service, or whatever you want to call them now, hydro dam. And the land directly adjacent to the water that WPS originally owned with FERC license on it was sold to a private landowner. And he owns that now, so he has certain controls, like when he could have completely cut it off, I guess, is what he's saying, but he cuts it off now just at dark. So, yeah, so things have changed from back when this was originally.
I have a question. Sometimes we gotta come in from the Wisconsin side.
Pardon me?
Sometimes we have to come in from the Wisconsin side to work on things,
So
right?
the Wisconsin side does connect to the dam. There's a gate there. We can't access it from that property to get over to the dam, which some of our employees that live in Wisconsin do get to. They have issues getting to the Michigan side direct. I can show you a map here.
So that was broken up. What I believe you're trying to describe is that FERC will require you to have safe and access to your dam for all of your operations. I think it would be easiest to answer specific questions that you have, but also possibly put this in the parking lot so I can work directly with the dam and we can talk about the lands that are of interest for the appraisal and sale, show you where those are, and talk a little bit more specifically about what lands would likely have to remain within the project boundary. We can draw up some materials for you and work with you to show you specifically what would be inside and outside of your FERC license through an amendment process.
Yeah, so I think that what the mayor was getting at is if we were to sell this property, would we still have access to
from
get
the Wisconsin
through
side.
the recreation area? Because this is Wisconsin side, it comes across here, that you can't access to where the door or the gate to access the dam from this side.
Right.
I guess her question, I believe, the mayor is,
Yes.
will we be able to access it from that side if need be? Just-
Can we add an easement, I guess, agreement to something like this?
That technically would be a question for Luke Roffler when it comes to converting the land to 6F, whether or not there can be another owner of that land. And I believe that you could have an easement to cross and get to that side of the
Well, that's gonna be that question is gonna be very important for me to make a decision on this. Because I do believe we should have access to that side.
And just speaking of
It's
easements.
going to be a requirement of the FERC license, so I'm asking that, I understand your hesitations, but this is going to be much simpler when you see it on the map with specific areas where access will be required as part of your federal license and do need to be maintained, whether that happens through permanent easements with the DNR through the land sale, or whether that remains under your FERC license under your ownership. I would prefer that we can put these materials together as a visual for you so that you can see exactly
That'd be
what's going to
great.
be necessary and what's going to be required.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me
That's
too.
fine.
Yeah.
That is what she's trying to do.
Yeah, that's fine.
And that's kind of,
It is very common that there are easements associated with tracts of lands. Please keep in mind that changes in FERC project boundaries are separate and parallel processes to ownership. It is very common for facilities and lands to be owned not by the licensee within a FERC project boundary. I don't want you guys to have a misimpression or a misunderstanding that you have to own everything within a FERC project boundary. It doesn't really work that way. The FERC project boundary is where FERC asserts their license conditions and their federal authority for your hydroelectric operation.
Jay, you mentioned a case where it was below the dam where you were fishing and that land was transferred. In this scenario, it's very different. This is a lot of this land is the reservoir land. That means the water line changes. I mean, this year we had State Route 577 underwater because there was so much water, and you know, we have to control the reservoir and everything around it. That's part of our FERC license and running a dam with a reservoir. The dam that's north of us is a, what do you call it, a water-through dam. There's no reservoir behind, they just let the water run through. So we are the stopgap for large amounts of water. And that's one of the biggest issues I have here as far as selling the land is what exactly is that line? Because, I mean, this year was one of those years where it was crazy, the amount of snow melt and everything that we had.
Clarification, that's not really going to affect the property sale associated with this. I'm asking you to table this so that I can provide your team with appropriate maps and what this actually means for you. I think there's a misunderstanding associated when you have historic floods, the flood line, the ordinary high water mark, and the expectations of a FERC project boundary.
And that's fine, and we're not making a decision on this tonight anyway, so, yeah, if you can just get that information out and we can look at that, we'd appreciate it.
We should probably at some point just have maybe a upcoming council meeting, a discussion on just maybe that presentation, so we have a
Yeah.
better understanding for council on that. So, is it Cheryl that? Yeah. If you want, we can discuss this later this week or next week. We can get material, and then we can figure out a time to have just this specific topic with council to get a better understanding.
Cheryl knows all the questions we're gonna ask already.
we
I don't know the questions I'm gonna ask, but I know she knows the questions. And yeah, being able to sit down and really, let them do their thing and answer a lot instead of us firing them out there.
Yeah, we want to give the council every assurance that what WSDOT is proposing and then ultimately what DNR is proposing is not going to change the conditions for the water, for height or amount going through. So I firmly believe that's exactly what we're doing, is that we're not changing the dam, we're not going to change, like build up the sides on the bottom side. So I can't imagine that we would change any water conditions for it, but we will get some additional information to share with you guys about that. And I will ask Luke tomorrow by email about the access from across the 6F also, not just the FERC lands, but across the 6F, to make sure that you guys can access all the way from the roadway across. So I'll do that.
Madam Mayor, if I could, I'd like to ask Mr. Stoltman and Treasurer Mackey to maybe look into what our own appraisal would cost.
Okay.
Give some ideas of what that looks like. Because personally, no offense, I'd like to have our own appraisal done.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been doing this for the last...
I understand.
No, what I was going to say is we've been doing this for the last 6 years. We don't have to have an answer tomorrow, trust me. We're good with what you guys want to do. It isn't like we need that answer.
Let's look and see what it costs, and then we'll decide from there if we want to do it or not.
If it's cost prohibitive, whatever.
Right.
So I got a little bit more that I want to discuss with you. So again, there's 4 parcels that have mineral rights attached to the deeds. We would have to deal with that. We'd have to take care of that. It shouldn't be a complex process. It's just finding who has these mineral rights. That's what's been difficult for us, is trying to figure out who owns these mineral rights so we can talk to them. That's been a little vexing.
That's what I'm worried about.
So then ultimately then this DNR and the city of Norway would agree upon final boundaries and parcels to be acquired. I didn't mention the second one up top though, is that the 3 of us would enter into a 3-way agreement defining the roles and responsibilities of completing this proposed action. And that is something that we have already done, and we were about ready to give it to you, and then we went on hiatus for a little while. So we'll upgrade that so that way then you guys can look at that 3-party agreement. Then WSDOT negotiates an acquires the property from Norway. WSDOT will have ownership of the property before DNR initiating any part of their process then. So that's the end of it for the city of Norway. Then you guys are done. We own it. You guys are out. The next one, there'll be some concluding steps that where WSDOT DNR gets approval from their Natural Resources Board to accept the transfers. It isn't like it ends for us. We still have other hurdles. They get approval from the National Park Service to use the land for WCF mitigation. WSDOT DNR provides confirmation to WSDOT removal of Section 4F, 6F restrictions from the waysides. WSDOT records conversion confirmation, and then it ends. Again, it seems like it's not a simple process. But at this point, as far as we've come, I don't see a lot of almost any hurdles that would say absolutely not. It looks like we are now in a good place to finish this path.
And I also would like our lawyer, of course, he usually does, look over the legal document. Okay, Grant?
Yep. Yeah, before any MOA would be signed, you have WSDOT legal, DNR legal, and your legal look at, make sure all 3 parties feel it's satisfactory to what everybody sees as the conditions of the agreement.
Yep, and our legal and DNR legal already looked at it, but again, it's been a while now, we have to recircle it. So.
Great progress, though. I was here when we asked you, and you guys did a great job, very thorough.
And I think that was the last slide. I think after this is, yeah,
Just a real quick question though, like in that interim before it switches over to the DNR, you guys aren't gonna go in there and like forest, you know, like.
That would never be the intent.
There's no intention of.
I can't say that for DNR, but there's logging rights on there right now. We would never do anything to change.
So that would have to be in the terminology of the contract on the sale, that it wouldn't be something, I mean, in my opinion, that should be something we would consider. Because obviously they're gonna have it before it switches over to the DNR. They would have control over that property for a certain period of time. And then, because I mean, I'm kind of wondering what's the angle? There's always an angle. So I'm just trying to figure out like what's, you know, what happens in that interim, you know?
Again, Luke isn't on, but I believe highest and best use would be, or I'm sorry, equal value and use would be it remaining a forest with some, for recreational purposes, and with just the addition of some trails to it.
I'll step in on this one, Jay, a little bit. I think you're mishearing the question. The question is that interim period we're trying to ask before we give it to DNR.
Yeah.
The intent is for that to be very, very, very small. We've been working in parallel about trying to get all this stuff worked on while we're working on the land transaction and the FERC boundaries. We'll be working on what we can do to move 4F6F at the same time too. So it would be just a matter of probably a paper transaction to another paper transaction. So.
But you're understanding where I'm coming from.
Exactly.
That during that interim, there is a possibility for you guys to make money off that property. And maybe even wreck it. I'm not saying that you would. I'm just saying that, you know what I mean? That's a concern for me,
We
you know?
put that in the MOA then if that's concerned, make sure that that doesn't happen. It's not our intent at all, so.
So again, I think that, you know, the bottom line here is that we, WSDOT and DNR, see this as a win-win-win-win. It's a win for the department, clearly. It's a win for the DNR. Hopefully you guys consider it a win that, you know, you're going to have to evaluate that, but I believe that it's a win for you guys. But more than anything, it's a win for the people of Wisconsin and Michigan, because they're going to have something that's preserved as recreational area in the end that they can use in perpetuity. So
Well, thank
very
you.
much for listening.
Thank you. Thank all of you.
Excellent presentation.
We'll move on to mayor council comments. Sarah, did you have anything?
Oh, but next week it's gonna be in the 80s, so finally we're gonna get summer.
Ricky?
That's all I got.
No.
Jeff?
Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, be safe, have fun, summer's kicking off.
Rico?
With regrets, this will be my last meeting. I need to resign. I'm sitting here watching my son play baseball on Game Changer. I'm missing the family engagement night at my new place of business. I'm going in too many directions. This job is so important to be going in that many directions. I just want to, thank everyone for the time that I got to spend here, and hopefully the things that we all accomplish. But yeah, too many directions. Something's got to go. But hopefully, when an empty nester or ish, it's gonna let the burning desire to, be involved in local politics. But right now, it's just not a possibility. So this will be it for me.
I understand. Thank you for all your service.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Sort of, it's been fun. So.
Well, with regrets, I'm glad that you got to spend the time, but I also was at a stage in my life when I had 2 kids running, and you've got 3, so I understand that. And we really, you got 4? 3, yeah.
I got 3.
I understand where you're coming from, and this is a big dedication. People don't understand. Sometimes they're like, what do you do? There's lots of things that we do. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't know what we do, and it's an important job, and it's hard to miss meetings and be able to stay focused on what we're doing, especially when it comes around budget time. It's very important.
Yeah, and, you know, my apologies to everyone here. Probably in the last 3 months, I've probably missed more meetings than I did in the 4 or 5 years that I was on, you know, the council combined. But yeah, that's really kind of where it came to light, so.
So tonight, is it?
This is it.
You don't want to stay through the finish our budget?
This is it.
All right. I have one thing that I wanted to say. Huge turnout for Norway rummages, everybody who puts that together, thank you. A lot of people in town and it was busy. I also want to notice that our graduates will be graduating on Sunday? On Friday, so I want to wish all the Norway graduates the best of luck. And there's a lot of parties and stuff going on, so everybody be careful out there and enjoy. And that's all I have. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Wait.
Oh, I forgot
All in
to ask
favor?
you.
Aye. Opposed?
I forgot to ask you.
Opposed?
Hear none.
Okay, we're done.